Hi, everybody. Welcome to Breakfast All Day. Christy, Alonso.
Hi.
I don't know if this is just filmmakers started this on Twitter, but there's been this whole thing about, worst lists are terrible and they don't accomplish anything and they're just negative and
Why don't we celebrate art?
You know what? Like, look, there's a yin and a yang to this. And we make best lists and we talk about the movies that we love and we recommend films and we champion like the great little underseen movies. But we have to acknowledge that, there's a lot of garbage out there.
Nick was asking me this morning on the way up here, like, how many movies do you see a year? I'm like, I don't know, like 300 or so,
Yes.
maybe. So I also kind of feel like
They can't all be good.
they can't all be good, but also the worst of list is an accurate reflection of what our year is like. And it's incomplete to say, here's all the awesome stuff.
Exactly.
And ignore that there are bad things. I think if we're looking back at the year or at the decade as we are now, like it is beneficial.
Absolutely.
And it's fun.
And yeah, to be honest, like when I started putting this list together, I was so depressed by the worst list. I mean, like the actual worst movies of this decade, you just don't want to think about them again. I did not want to think about Nutcracker 3D again.
That was terrible.
So I made a list of the best worst movies.
Okay.
Like the fun ones that you kind of want to watch with other people. I will say I did completely somehow forget about the Book of Henry.
Well, I've got that one for you, so don't worry.
Good. I felt I posted the list. I was like, but anyway, yeah. So that for sure goes there. So mine in alphabetical order. Collateral Beauty.
I have that as well, which I think kind of goes hand in hand with the Book of Henry.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
In that they are both like batshit crazy, and you can't believe they're going there.
Batting for the fences, bananas, and just plot twists where you're like, what? Huh? Let's see. Gotti.
I have Gotti.
We just talked about The Fanatic.
When you thought like John Travolta couldn't make a worse movie, is this worse than The Fanatic? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. Like, are they apples and oranges of terribleness?
I mean, they're both despicable in their own particular ways.
In showy ways.
Yes. I was going to say they're not boring, but they are boring. Yeah, I don't know. That's a toughie. But they're both dreadful. Did you see The Identical?
No.
Do you remember that movie?
Is it Elvis?
It's the Elvis. The premise is basically, what if Elvis's twin had not died in childbirth, but actually was raised by ministers played by Ray Liotta and Ashley Judd. Ashley Judd, yes. And then who knows what? But also in a universe in which Elvis himself does exist.
Is this like Yesterday, but for Elvis?
It's a bonkers faith-based movie where
it's also Christian.
But like a very specific kind of Christian, like we need to win all the Jewish people over to Jesus kind.
That's despicable.
It's the kind of movie where they barely mention Vietnam, but they spend a lot of time on the 6-Day War. It's nuts.
That's very strange.
Let's see. This one I know you did see, speaking of faith-based films, Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas.
Of course I have that one too. When I was going back and trying to recall the worst of the decade, like that's the first one on my list is Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas.
Boy, howdy.
But that was, again, like a movie that truly has to be seen to be believed for how misguided and how shoddy it is.
Because you go in thinking, this is going to be Kirk Cameron being all like, Jesus is the reason for the season. No. This is Kirk Cameron being like, Cocoa and lots of presents is the reason for the season. And here's why the Bible backs me up.
Right. Go shopping. And it just looks like crap. It's so low budget. And we look at movies like the Spirit Award movies in the Cassavetes category that celebrate low budget filmmaking and how much you can achieve artistically and really a beautiful transporting film. This is clearly shot in like a kitchen and a living room and a parked car outside of the house. And then there's weird flashbacks.
Yeah, with sub-infomercial production values.
It's the lighting. There's a whole section that takes place like where like one of the characters is standing behind the island in the kitchen. And the whole just like blocked entirely by the island. Anyway,
with an empty wine fridge. I was like, what a waste, Kirk Cameron.
Everything is very strange.
Yes. Life Itself.
Life Itself is also batshit like Collateral Beauty's batshit.
Yes.
Also with a great cast like that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Olivia Wilde, Oscar Isaac.
You just talked about Oscar Isaac in Inside Llewyn Davis. Woo, he cannot fireman's carried this movie to safety. Antonio Banderas, who gave one of my favorite performances this year. Yeah, just
so what do they see in a script like that and say yes to? I wonder.
I'm sure there's like, it reads as meaty, like they get to do a lot of big emotions and, and
we're all interconnected.
Exactly. Like, and I'm sure they figure, Fogelman's hot right now with, This Is Us.
Oh, right.
And,
This Is Us guy. Yes.
Okay. Did you see the Oogie Loves in the Big Balloon Adventure?
I did. And Oogie Loves is the first movie I took Nick to see in a theater. We were the only ones there. I can't recall why I had to see it. What was it for? But I took him after school one day.
Oh, wow.
In like Burbank, I want to say. It was the only place where it was playing. We were the only ones in the whole theater.
Did he get up and sing a dance when he was supposed to?
No, but he got up and he ran around because he was so fucking bored. he was so bored. He was like 3. He just turned 3, 2.5, 3. Anyway, he was really young. Oh, God.
I think there were like 2 other people in the theater, so we couldn't be as vocal about it as we wanted to, but we just sort of punched each other in the leg a lot. Oh, man.
But that movie, I mean, I do not smoke pot or do any kinds of drugs, but maybe with drugs, it's a fun movie. I don't know. Do you need drugs?
It couldn't hurt.
May I interrupt?
Yeah, please.
A vacuum cleaner wants to fuck a window in this movie. It's that good. It's so good.
This is not how we teach kids about the birds and the bees. Thank you.
If in case Mike didn't pick that up, Dave says, a vacuum cleaner wants to fuck a window. It's that good. Let's see. Sex and the City 2.
Yeah, that was too long.
Yeah, just how you can take, like, and here's the thing, like, if you didn't like the franchise ever, then obviously why would you bother? But like, I enjoyed the show. Mm-hmm. I thought the first movie was what I wanted it to be from having watched the show. It was just this big bowl of chocolate chip cookie dough. And then the second one is just so like, it's like it's daring you to have ever liked any of these characters.
And also it's trying to be about something in a way that really exceeds its grasp.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And at the same time getting that thing wrong, So like trying to make a point about like women in the Middle East, but it's like, but then it also kind of gives you these gay characters in the Middle East, but it's kind of jokey about them and sort of shovels them off to the sidelines. Like, wait, that's a whole other story we could be telling here. But yeah, it's the hottest of messes. And speaking of mistreated gay characters, Stonewall.
I never saw Stonewall, but it was terrible. I'm guessing.
Yes, a dreadful piece of historical fiction. I bet you didn't see Surfer: Teen Confronts Fear.
No, I saw various Bethany Hamilton movies, but not that one.
Oh man. This one it's still making its way around, like it still gets play dates in places.
What's it called again?
Surfer: Teen Confronts Fear.
It sounds like a whole subgenre on YouTube.
Yeah, you think. Well, apparently there's this guy, and he teaches at USC or something, but not in the film department. Let's be clear about that. Who I guess had this tons of footage of his son growing up and surfing, and so then he sort of makes it into this whole weird biblical allegory film. And at one point he has this whole crazy monologue, and then black goo comes out of his mouth. It is Tommy Wiseau levels of I don't even know what we're doing here.
Well, now I want to see it.
Yeah.
You invoke Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, it's that kind of outsider art that you've got to check out. And then finally, there were a lot of films from this filmmaker to choose from, but really there is nothing more entertaining of the ones that don't work than Tyler Perry's Confessions of a Marriage Counselor.
But that's the kind of thing you got to go and hoot and holler at,
yes.
and just go have fun with it. And I know we are Tyler Perry and Medea completists around here. So Alonso knows whereof he speaks when he says this. This is not his first Tyler Perry movie.
I've taken a deep dive here. It's Temptation: Confessions of a Marriage Counselor, which, one of the things about Tyler Perry movies that I find endlessly fascinating is on the one hand, there's this, he champions women and women's issues. On the other hand, he is such a scold and a slut shamer, and this movie is literally ladies, you better stay in your lane and be a good and devoted wife, because the second you step out of line, you're going to get AIDS.
I feel like perhaps this one might have had higher production values than your average Medea movie, though.
It does have the Kim Kardashian cameo.
Oh, right. I do. I remember this was bad. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Are you done? That's all yours?
That's my list.
All right.
What do you got?
I don't have any kind of rhyme or reason to mine. I will chime in. I have some that Alonso had. Kirk Cameron, Saving Christmas, of course. Winter's Tale.
Ooh.
which is trying to be profound and like time traveling and has a great cast, including Colin Farrell.
Yeah, and the magic horse and the and like Will Smith as the devil.
Yep.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's trying really hard to be profound.
Lady Mary,
it's profound like New York fairy tale.
Not Lady Mary, Lady Sybil.
Pompeii.
Ooh, yeah.
It's just big, ugly, like the worst kind of
historical,
big, ugly CGI spectacle. Just looks like crap and is forgettable. Yeah. Hot Pursuit.
Oh, I never saw that, but I remember. That's the Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara.
I was actively angry about that.
I heard that was dreadful.
A movie that's supposed to be like about women's empowerment, and it's actually about people just being idiotic and vapid and tearing each other apart.
Did a woman direct that?
I don't remember.
I want to say that maybe they did, but anyway, that doesn't excuse anything.
Yes. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Ooh.
I mean, it's easy. This is too easy. This is low-hanging fruit.
Sure,
but like just when you thought that Paul Blart Mall Cop couldn't get worse, there's Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Collateral Beauty, yes. Yeah. Although it is just delightfully bad and insane. Mother's Day.
Ooh.
Is the last of the Gary Marshall holiday-themed ensemble dramedies.
It was his last film.
Period. He had done Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And this is my main takeaway from Mother's Day is
Julia Roberts' wig.
No, that's a good memory. But Kate Hudson doing yoga on her front lawn, like her legs were like splayed wide open in what I can only assume are her own Fabletics legging line. It's bad. This is a movie that I had to drag Nick to go see because it was like a 4:00 screening and I couldn't find a babysitter and he was too young for me to leave him alone at this point and I couldn't bring him over to Chris's work. And so I dragged him. I dragged him with me and we walked out. And he was like, that was the worst thing you've ever taken me to see. And then we saw Playing with Fire. And so now we have a new winner for best worst movie.
What did you say? Nick came out and said that movie completely misused Margot Martindale.
Yes, it's so true. The Last Face. Which if I may borrow from myself, that Sean Penn took African Strife and turned it into a 2-hour-long perfume commercial. This is, again, tremendously talented people. Charlize Theron, Javier Bardem, and they fall in love across war-torn African nations. And they're all these like dissolves, like gauzy dissolves. And
a movie so full of good intentions that it has paved its own highway to hell.
Yes, it is not good. Book of Henry, we talked about for a little bit. Gaudy. And I'm going to cheat and do an 11th one. That's Show Dogs.
Ooh, yes.
Which they had to edit to take out the part that suggests that kids should just block it out when they're being fondled. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Show Dogs, Will Arnett.
Google it.
Yes.
There's an entire subplot where basically the dog has to learn to zone out while someone is grabbing his junk.
Yeah, so it's talking dogs at a dog show. Will Arnett is this detective who just has to go undercover.
It's like Miss Congeniality for dogs.
It is. And he has to break up this like international animal smuggling, like exotic animal smuggling ring. And Ludacris is the Doberman who is his canine partner. He plays the voice of it. And one of the things is that they have to, in a dog show, part of the examination process, how they are all assessed according to the other ones is grabbing their genitals, and there's like a happy place the dog has to learn to go to when adults are grabbing his genitals, and like children's advocacy groups really cried out like,
I'm sorry, what?
This is really, really wrong. And so then they had to cut that part out and re-release it.
Yeah,
but it still sucks. It's not like it's a good movie now.
Yeah, that didn't single-handedly save it or anything.
It's not like when they re-released Cats and that made it better.
All fixed now. Yeah, that was one of those moments. And again, I think it's a thing that applies to so many of these movies where like nobody along the chain went, hey, wait a minute.
This is a movie that's meant for kids too. It's not like this is a raunchy R-rated comedy with dogs. It's like for kids.
Yeah. But I think
talking pugs and things.
A lot of these movies along the way, somebody should have went, I don't.
Anyway, let us know what you saw, what you endured, what you laughed and cried with.
Yes. What are the terrible movies that you have pressed onto friends in the last 10 years? Tell us. We want to know. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And hey, visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. That's where you'll find our TV recaps, trailer news. This week we're going to talk about the onslaught of awards that's coming up. And once a month we review a classic that our viewers, our members pick for us. So that's a thing. Check it out. Anyway, thanks everybody. Have a great new year.
Hang on.
Oh, and
I have an a la carte. The year is new, and we have new a la cartes. My friend Robin Sachs will be out on Monday. She has had so many different careers. She was a prosecutor in the LA County DA's office, and then became like a TV legal analyst for a while, and then went back to school and got her social work master's at USC, and is now kind of melding all of those things into one enterprise called dearcoparent.com, where, like, let's say you are divorcing and having like a really acrimonious divorce, and you're sending shitty emails off to each other, and they escalate and it makes it worse. Like, all that stuff is discoverable in a divorce trial, and it's how to communicate with your ex, soon to be ex, and how to co-parent better and communicate better. And she's just a really, really smart woman.
I hope you talk about Marriage Story.
Oh, I'm not sure we did. Oh, that's true. We might not have. I think she actually might have my screener for Marriage Story.
Now I want her expert opinion.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Wishing everybody a wonderful 2020.
Happy New Year.
We'll be back next week. Bye.